Alright, and we're back for this side of the house garden, which is kind of like we tried to make a rock garden, but we're not extremely successful. It needs to be like restarted from the beginning, and I don't think we have it in us to do it at this house, maybe at the next house. So we have all sorts of, look at this awesome succulent that has been growing for years, and it's starting to really get beautiful, cascading down like that. All sorts of opuntias and echeverias right there. There's a nice agave Victoria Regina. And like, where do I have those? So I buy a lot and I get cuttings a lot from people, and I bring stuff from the desert sometimes. This, for instance, this little opuntia that I think it's gonna put blooms this year. It looks like a Opuntia humifusa because it's kind of like creeping like that. So I brought it from the Outer Banks. I found it somewhere and I just brought it. And I brought one little pad, and this is quite a few years after, but we'll see what that bloom does this year. So we'll see. This is an absolutely fantastic rose that David and Carol gave me. Again, probably, oh, I know, when I got my citizenship. But look how beautiful. I think it's called American Dream or American Beauty, or the Romanian got his green card, something like that. Look at the beautiful blooms. Those are really, I mean, damn. I did not realize the blooms are that big. They're just unbelievable. Thank you, David and Carol. Okay, there's a opuntia right there that I got from Plants Delight, and that's the prickless one, so don't get excited. It still has the little pricks, and you will get bit if you're not careful. But I kind of like espaliate it like this. People like it, so it gives a really nice structural thing. I need to rework a little bit on it, maybe to make it a little bit more balanced on the left and the right. But yeah, I like it. Starting to get a little bit of a height there. Maybe I need to, yeah, as I said, I need to work on it. I need to work on everything. So this is a probably 5, 7, 8 years experiment that I've been doing. This pot, this planter, it's pure rock, right? So those cactus are grown in pure rock, and they're doing mighty fine. All sorts of stuff that Fred gave me. You see that aloe right there? Fred gave me that hacksaw ridge agave. Fred gave me. This pot right here also, it's kind of like an experiment to see what echeverias would do. So the big ones right here I brought from San Diego. They were some, like how they hedge, how you hedge here stuff. Well, they hedge echeverias there. So there were some blooms of an echeveria that were done, and they were in the trash pile. So I brought some cuttings, and they're doing well. It's a nice red yucca that I grew from seed. Pretty much, I think Patty gave me this. Patty gave me one, and then she also gave me some seed, and she said, oh, I heard that those seeds are really hard to grow, so let's see if you can grow them. Well, yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while to grow, and it takes a while to get them to bloom. Here's a really nice euphorbia that I gave tips to friends. A massive fig tree that has been producing really nice last year, and Christine didn't let me cut it. I think it was a mistake, but I know what's good for me. So, well, as you saw that water barrel, so yeah, we collect water. Beautiful peony right there from Adriana. We keep changing. So here we had a middle garden. Well, you see, it's all wood chips, so we got rid of all the grass, which is, I think, an absolutely great idea. But this middle garden got changed, and we made it a little bit bigger. And there's gems and beauties everywhere. So like this little kind of pokey thing that you see, it's like, which is nothing right now, but it's a yellow yucca, which are fairly rare. Not everybody has them. Of course, we got them from Plant Delight, so there we go. Nice baptisia there with a little bit of a variegated ginger, which I'm super pleased it came back that nicely this year. Purple coneflower right here in the foreground. This is a daisy something it's called. It's like it looks like a yucca or a agave, but it's not. But it's awesome and it really grew nicely. I got it maybe 6 inches tall, so yeah, 2-3 years later that's what you get. A nice opuntia right there. It's always a fight with the opuntias because they take over, and so I have to cut them, and I feel probably I feel 3 big trash bins with the opuntias, with the opuntia pads that I throw away. This is a little bit of a couple of plumerias that we keep fighting to get them to bloom, and we gave a lot away because they're big, they have to be brought in, and it's tough. A couple of pots. It's a nice mammillaria right here that's taking over that pot slowly, which is the plan. That's the biggest and the oldest agave that we have. It's a agave Mr. Ripple, which started to put serious growth this year. Again, from Plants Delight. Probably it is 12 years old, I would say. No, because the house is that old, so probably I would say 10. I would say 10, yeah. That's, you see that monstrous Cholla Cylindropuntia I brought from the desert, just a little bit of a cutting. That's 4 years later. As I said, just ask. I'll tell you more about any of the plants in here. Some irises that are gonna pop. All sorts of agaves that I started experimenting with because, Fred gave me a lot. So then I'm not fearful to just keep them in pots. I'm like, hey, let me put them through the landscape and see what they do. Okay, this is the other huge agave. That is probably 2-3 years younger than the one in front, but it's as big as you can see. That's the close to the house garden with laurel pedalum, and has a tea olive in there and all sorts of pretty bushes which they need trimming. Now that I look at a jasmine vine that it's loved by birds because probably there's 4 or 5 nests in there now. That's taking over, but look at the beautiful blooms that's gonna put out. After that I'm gonna trim it. Huge paper bush right here, which we have for quite a few years, that's producing wonderfully every year. This year it was rough because it started to put the blooms out because of the weather, and then it froze, and then done. So not as many. Oh my god, look at that. That's what she was doing. So the little bird, I saw it. It was one of those I don't know my birds. Well, a bird that had a nest in there, and the little baby probably fell out of the nest, and now the mother's feeding it on our steps. So I guess we'll need to kind of like go through the back or something when we get out of the house. Well, oh well. Well, anyway, so that's the garden tour for the front garden, and let's go a little bit in the greenhouse. Let me try to like hide to not get that bird spooked, and we'll see you in the greenhouse. Bye.